you and I and Malcolm, do you remember A Year Without a Santa Claus? No, I'm Mr. Heat Miser, that thing. Like, it's Santa Claus gets sick.
Did it air in Canada?
I don't think so, no.
Let's go. Let's go find out.
If I was waiting for a political question, and I got a little edgy.
Did you see the pause? Like he doesn't know whether to answer.
It was like he's sitting in front of like a Senate subcommittee where he's just like,
now or ever been a communist.
I'd like to plead the fifth on this, sir. A Year Without Santa Claus, for those that don't know, is Santa Claus gets sick, and it's up to Mrs. Claus to kind of,
No. Well, sick in what way? You mean sick in the head or sick physically?
Physically sick. He's ill. No? That's
sick,
not the one where he's
sick in the head. He's depressed because he doesn't think the world needs a Santa Claus anymore.
That's why you got tight about it before, because you really fucking dialed in on this. Okay, so he's depressed.
Yes.
And so what is Mrs. Claus's whole thing? What's the plot?
She's trying to kick him in the ass and get him out of bed, and
which is in and of itself a fucked up children's program. Where you're like, you know who you love, who loves you and gives you shit for free once a year?
He's ready to put a fucking gun in his mouth.
This dude's reached the end of his rope. He's like that uncle that you're not allowed to go see anymore because he's in the hospital. It's such a strange program to make for kids. So what is Mrs. Claus? Why does she go to Heat Miser and Freeze Miser?
I've seen it a million times.
Mm-hmm. And with your kids or pre-kids?
Pre-kids and with kids. I watch it with my kids now every year too. But they just want to fast forward right to the songs. They can't deal with the other stuff. And I agree. It is brutally boring until the songs come on. But
and depressing. I mean, that sounds horrible.
Maybe that's why they didn't run it in Canada. It's just like, this is too depressing for our children, eh?
But at some point, there's these two elves that...
Jingle and something?
Jingle and Jangle, that take it upon themselves to go to America and, I don't know, find, I guess, prove to Santa that he's needed. Mm-hmm. I can't remember, but they get stuck in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And they have a flying reindeer that they ride.
Fucking capture him. What are you, boys? Some kind of Jew? No, we're Jingle and Jangle. Sounds Jewish to me.
But they ride a reindeer into Georgia, or actually, it's called Southtown. It's not called. It's not called Georgia. It actually is called Southtown.
Right on.
And
all right, so apologies to all of Georgia. Now let's just blanket the entire South Corridor of the United States.
The reindeer gets sick because it's so hot, and they can't fly back.
I have vague memories of this. He's ill.
Yes,
of a sick
and
reindeer. Everyone's sick in this program. Santa's mentally ill. The reindeer, and which one is it? It's not Rudolph. It's like
it's one of the famous ones.
Like Comet, Donner,
yeah,
Blitzen.
It's one of those names. But he gets picked up as a dog. They think it's a dog, and they get going into a pound.
This, yes.
And they won't let the dog out of the pound unless it snows or something like that. They make some wild proclamation at the mayor says, "I'll let that dog out if it snows," or
as
something.
As they do in the South. When them blacks have a vote, I'll let the reindeer out. Ha 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 ha. What did you spend your Friday, Saturday nights doing? Everyone's working toward the weekend of having fucking kegger at Snake Lake and shit. What did you do?
I'll go to the movies.
Go to concerts and shit too?
I went to a couple concerts.
When you got of age, did you go to strip clubs at all, like Strutters and whatnot?
No.
There's that period where me and Johnson found Strutters, and we went like every weekend for a month straight, and then just got real depressed because it was just like, these girls don't really like us; they just want our money. And then watching other dudes like looking at the girls like they really wanted them and shit. I just remember looking over, and there was a Hindu kid, looked like he was about like early 20s, and he was there with who I assumed was his dad.
Oh, God.
Like a Hindu gentleman in his 50s or something like that. And they had all their bills lined up and shit, and the chicks would, dance, pole, and then they'd fucking slink over. And Strutters was a juice bar, so they could be completely fucking naked. And the chicks would kind of crawl over on all fours and stuff. And the dude would, like, hand her the money and lock eyes with her and shit. Like that, like it was real.
There's a tether.
Yeah, oh my God, like a tractor beam pulled them together and shit, and like just wouldn't take his eyes off her. And then like, the chicks, sometimes they do things where they reach their hand around the back of their legs so that their hand is kind of between their legs near the puss, and then they're pulling the $1 no less. I mean, you imagine maybe a little more for some move like this, and pulling with the person's hand close to them, but then just letting go before they fucking touch, and then backing away a little bit, or doing the thing where they rub the boob in the face. And watching that, and it just depressed me so much, because I was like, I think this dude really believes like he could get this chick, but there's no way on earth this chick would fuck this guy. And then she'd come over to us, and Johnson would break into a 20-minute discussion with him about like, why are you doing this? What's it feel like? And the chicks get this look on their face where they're like, fuck you. I don't want to be judged. I'm fucking doing this for the money, obviously. But they would always sucker Johnson out of a lot of money and shit. Like, I remember we were talking to this one chick, and she was just like, he's like, how's your night going? She's like, it's not good. Some guy tried to jam his finger in my asshole, and Brian gave her $40. And then the next time we went back, the same fucking chick said the same thing, and Brian's like, that happened to you last time. And she had this look on her face like, huh? And then like, oh yeah, fine,
you're the $40 guy.
Yeah, totally.
But again, I really wish that I knew you in high school then, because there was plenty of times that if I were just like, we should go play Putt Putt in Seaside, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go.
They're like, what are you out of your fucking mind? Let's go puff puff in Iron City. We'll get stoned and it'll be fun. It's so strange, because oftentimes it wasn't even like a co-ed, let's go out drinking. It was like a bunch of dudes sitting around drinking.
Right.
Like, not even like, all right, well, we're drinking with the girls, and maybe the girls will fucking like loosen up and I'll get laid tonight. It was, I hung out with a crew of dudes who would get drunk
around a fire.
Yeah.
And
in the
you
woods, which is so homoerotic. It's just like a bunch of dudes with fucking substance that will limit their inhibitions in the woods, out in nature, around a fucking fire pit and shit like that. I'm surprised we didn't wind up with cocks in our mouths.
You got to the root of why I'm gay, actually, because I am that guy who was in the fucking camping,
We're out in the woods.
We're in the woods? What are we? I'm drunk. We got these bottles.
It's not gay if you suck my dick in the woods.
And you're drunk.
Yeah, whatever. It's just fucking, it's just a shot in the mouth.
Let's party. Come on.
You weren't camping. It's almost the next best thing to camping.
He says they were camping, but we would never went camping. I would almost be like, fuck yeah, let's go camping. At least it's different.
Right.
This is just hanging out on a beach.
Right. And not a good beach either.
No, it was
also,
terrible.
it's like some people will travel to the beach and whatnot because that's fun. Because it's like, well, we don't live near beach. We lived on the beach, so it wasn't like being on the beach was a cool thing. It was like, well, you throw a rock and you hit a fucking beach. It was just a place to go drink where you wouldn't get caught necessarily.
And was it just strictly group of friends, or did you come into, like, I hated this is when we got down there, like the group I was with got down there, and there was a group of some of the older guys in school who are much older than us. Right. And I'd be like, you're just looking around like, I know one of these fuckers is just going to punch us or humiliate us for no reason because they're drunk.
Or fucking even worse, like, here come the young ones. They'll suck our dicks.
I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about just getting punched or somebody throwing something at you, and there's really nothing you can do.
I was always terrified of older kids and shit, especially because when you're the chubby kid, you're the target, where it's just like, let's beat on Tubby, let's pick on him and shit like that. But yeah, oh god, I hated that. And his house, and Bellicos's mom was kind of cool about letting us party there and whatnot, because she was of the mind like, rather you do it here than like be out there, and fucking fall into the water at the beach and drown while you're drunk or something. But like, I remember like drinking vodka, pop-off vodka from a squeezable bottle, not squeezable, not meant to be squeezed, but it was when they first started making non-breakable plastic bottles. And so I didn't want to drink beer, so I was drinking pop-off, and I had a 1.5 liter, and I was not drinking as much as fucking forcing it down my throat. I'd squeeze the bottle, and it was just like ingesting so much alcohol. I got so insanely beyond shit-faced, incomprehensible. And they put me in his sister's room, Nellie. I was just in this dark room. My girlfriend showed up later at the party because I didn't want her at the party early because she was in a grade below me and shit. Thank God she showed up, because I was just force vomiting all over the room. Completely fucking redecorated Nellie's room, and like they'd given me a pot, like a stew pot, in case I got sick. Never hit the pot. It almost looked like the next day when I went up and saw it, and I was so embarrassed, it looked like I went out of my way to vomit on things. Like, rather than like find a bag or a drawer or anything that would contain it, I was just hitting the walls, hitting the fucking mattress, and staining the floor. They'd pull up carpet. It was really bad. But I remember, like, Kim finally got me home and shit, and my mother didn't freak out. And, like, she's like, you're lucky your father's not here because he would be really mad. But, you know, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why. Fucking gosh, Mom. I love you so much, Mom. I'm a good boy. I had a little too much drink. And she actually let me get away with it. Which, years down, like, what, a year later, 2 years later, when I'm like, hey, I'm just going to go to the movies. At this point, I'm like 17. So when I'm trying to go to the movies at age 18, 19, a midnight show, completely dry, with 2 friends, and I have a license, you know, and I can vote and shit like that, to have her be like, you're not going anywhere. It was just such a weird, she had odd lines. You guys got lucky because you had fucking liberal parents, I guess. Mine ruled with an iron fist. Almost like having a girlfriend more than having a mother.